What's up, y'all? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Sorry I'm late. I'm still trying to get this new intro to work. I cannot get this new intro to upload into StreamYard. And I've gotten stuff to upload into StreamYard before. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm sure it's me because I know I'm not the most techno savvy person. So I'm sure it's me. But I might need some help. I tried to get Ebby to help me last night, child. She can't help me, so I'm gonna try to figure it out. Hey y'all, coming in. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's why I was a little late. I'm still trying to get this. Y'all know I hate when I can't figure something out, so it's gonna bug me until I can figure it out. I didn't cry. Maybe I'm just a heartless. I don't understand why all of y'all cried. Like I thought it was gonna be something that was gonna make me. I don't know. Maybe I just, maybe I need to go sit on the therapist's couch or something because I don't understand why everybody was crying. Y'all didn't know how it was going to end. It was a surprise. Confused. I'm confused why all y'all was crying. Thank you. I feel better. I do feel better today. Somebody said I'm heartless. I'm not trying to be heartless, but I told y'all think I'm joking when I say I don't cry a lot. I really don't cry a lot. I really don't. That's why when I do cry, it's usually an ugly, boo-hoo, ugly cry because I'm usually crying probably for all the times that I should have cried that I didn't cry. I'm looking for some lip gloss. Where is all my lip gloss? Y'all know I hate a matte lip. Oh, here we go. This is a little something. Yeah. When his friend said he realized he was looking for any love. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. That part was sad. That part was sad because let me tell you, okay. Now, I didn't take any notes, so I'm just free because I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it. But there are a few things I do want to discuss. So I'm just freeballing it. So y'all go ahead and write what y'all want to write in the chat. For those who don't know, we're here to talk about the Luther Vandross documentary that is on. It's currently running on CNN. I think it's going to be on OWN later on. I'm not sure when it's going to debut on OWN, but right now it's on CNN. It's going to come on again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I think. So if you didn't catch it, go ahead and put it in your DVR or set a reminder. I think it's coming on again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Or you can watch it on demand. If you go in, if you have, like, I have DirecTV, you can watch it on demand. It probably eventually will be on Hulu. Somebody was saying it's on Hulu now. It probably eventually will be on Hulu, but it's not on Hulu right now. It made me, I'm going to be honest with you, I felt sad for him. So let me, hold on. Let me let the people on the other channel know we live. Let me let the people on the other channel know we live, chat. Because, I'm only on this channel, so. It was very nostalgic. Now, that it was very nostalgic. Part of the reason why I kept saying I wasn't sure if I was going to watch it or not is because honestly, a lot of this I already knew. I told you guys, I love biographies. I love autobiographies. I love reading about other people's life. So I had already read a biography on Luther Vandross. It wasn't like an unauthorized, like salacious one. And because I knew this documentary was authorized with his family's permission, I knew it wasn't going to be salacious. And I'm not saying it has to be. That's not what I'm saying. But I knew that a lot of the information I already knew was going to kind of already be there. That's what I mean by that. So let me start at the beginning. Can I say I do like the fact that this documentary was made, because I feel like Luther's, maybe it was the same one I read, Audrey. I do feel like Luther's reputation has taken a lot of hits over the years, as far as, you know, him and Anita Baker and him in Vogue, and how he was such a, you know, he had such a diva attitude and stuff like that. So I do like the fact that this documentary was made, because I think it did a good job of not so much changing the conversation, but reminding people maybe he was a little diva-ish, but he was that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Now the In Vogue thing, I don't really remember all of the details, but I do remember the details of the Anita Baker thing. And in all reality, they gave as good as they got. Like, that was mutual combat. Like, Luther Vandross was not picking on Anita Baker. What had happened was, if I remember correctly, and for those who remember, y'all correct me, but Anita Baker and Luther Vandross were going on tour. Well, whenever you have two superstars going on tour, it's always who's going to open, who's going to close. We remember the big controversy with Monique and DL Hughley, right? So what had happened was Luther and Anita were going on this tour. Well, at the time that they were going on the tour, Anita Baker actually had the bigger hit at that time. However, Luther had the longevity, right? Luther had been a star longer than Anita Baker, and he had the bigger catalog. So Luther's thing was, I'm not opening for Anita Baker. And Anita Baker was like, I got the biggest hit on the radio right now. I shouldn't have to open for him. Luther was like, okay, well, either she open for me or I ain't doing this tour. It's real easy. So, of course, you know, everybody negotiated, yada, yada, yada. And Anita Baker lost. She ended up having to open for Luther Vandross. So Anita Baker was like, oh, okay. You want me to open? This is what I'm going to do. And she ended up singing a Luther Vandross song. Baby, they said Luther ass couldn't get to that stage fast enough when he heard her singing his song. So that is where the rivalry, the feud began. And I don't fault Luther for that one. Like, yes, okay, right now, she might have the bigger hit, but baby, I've been here longer. I've earned this. And I don't need her to go on tour. She need me. Like, I can go on tour without her. So now I don't remember the In Vogue part of it. In Vogue, I think, complained because they said that he was very much like a micromanager and a task manager about how he wanted them to do their show or whatever. Audrey said it was who was top billed. I actually attended that concert. It was Sinbad, Sounds of Blackness, Anita, and Luther. Right. By the time the tour came out, that's what it was. But I'm saying when they were in the beginning stages of figuring the tour out, that was the argument. That was the fight between Luther's management and Anita Baker's management. Yeah, by the time the tour came out, yeah, it had already been settled. But she wasn't happy about it. Yeah, it had been settled, but she wasn't happy about it at all. Mm-hmm. He didn't change the stage setup. Also, she wanted a straight stage, and he had his signature round stage. Luther won. Yeah, so that's my. And again, I don't remember every single detail, but that's what I remember, right? But I think so. So I say all that to say, I think this was a great documentary to tell his story. And they had so many clips of him that I love the fact that we heard his voice throughout every stage of his life, right? Now, from the very beginning, I was loving this documentary because, again, I love the fact that it was Luther's words. And baby, when that first interviewer asked him, did he grow up poor? He said, I don't know. He said, I don't know if I grew up poor or not. You got to ask my mama. He said, I know I grew up happy. And I know my house was full of love. I said, you better let him know, Luther. See, here's the thing that I don't like. Why do we always have to have a rag to riches story? Why everybody had to grow up in the hood? Why everybody had to have this woe is me, single mother, mama working 20 jobs. I barely could get the shoes on my feet to go to school every day. Why everything got to be a struggle? Why we can't just, and I'm not even going to make that a black thing. I think a lot of times with artist development, they want to come up with this, rags to riches story. It's like everybody didn't grow up poor. All single parent families weren't like downtrodden and like, damn. So I loved his answer. He was like, I don't know. Maybe that thing cracked me up when he said, I don't know. Because he know. But he said, I don't know. So that's the first thing I loved. Okay, so one interview asked him, did you always know you could sing? And I loved his answer. He said, I always knew I wanted to sing. And then he said that's when he found out that he got that from his mom. I mean, from his dad. His dad died when he was 8. But he said everybody told him that his father was musical and his father could sing. In Vogue was upset because Luther mentored in air quotes them and they didn't like it. Yeah, I thought it was something like that with In Vogue, but well, never mind. I'm gonna leave that over there. They talked about now, y'all. We're gonna have to quote the Carlos King. We're gonna have a real conversation. Okay, I'm gonna pull out the mic. Let me know if I'm too loud. We're going to have a real conversation. And I ain't offending my friends, Chuck. I'm not offending my friends. Y'all know who I mean when I say my friends. But at the very beginning of this documentary, when Luther told us that the way his mama used to punish him when he did something he wasn't supposed to do. The way his mama used to punish him was to not let him look at the Supremes. On Sunday night, on the Ed, y'all know the show that everybody used to go on Sunday night, the white man, the Ed, y'all know who I'm talking about. When he said his earliest motivations, Ed Sullivan, that's what I'm talking about him, was the Supremes and Dionne Warwick and Aretha. Now I ain't trying to get into no stereotypes. But come on now. His mama used to punish him by not letting him look at the Supremes. Hey, Abby. Hey, boo. Now I'm going to leave that over there. Somebody keep my list. That's the number one on the list. That's number one on the list. Y'all put that over there. That's number one on the list. Mama used to punish him by not letting him look at the Supremes. Just go and put that over there on the list. And when we get to the end of this, We talk about it, okay? Now, he joined a group in high school with some of his friends. Now, what Faison? Was that his friend's name? Faison? Hey, Uncle Jay, thank you, boo. Was that his friend's name? I know it was Carlos, Faison, and I think what was the other lady's name? Those were like his three friends from high school. They knew each other from the beginning. And it sounds like they looked out for each other throughout their life. Now, as soon as I saw Faison, can I just be honest? Can I be honest with y'all? Because y'all asked me to watch this documentary and y'all wanted to hear what I had to say. So y'all got to hear my honest opinion. And I don't want nobody in the comments saying nothing nasty to me, okay? Because y'all asked me and this is what it is, okay? I'm being honest. As soon as I saw Faison, I said, oh. Now I know why. We never know about Lufa. Because Faison ain't told nobody. Especially after Faison said that he took him to the Grammys. He just called him up and said, hey, you want to go to the Grammys with me? Now, y'all, I'm not saying that Faison is or is not. But as soon as I saw Faison on that screen, I'm just telling you what I was thinking. I said, oh, well, that's why ain't none of his old, friends came out and said nothing. Fonzie. Okay, Fonzie. Thank you, Fonzie. I said Faison, Fonzie. I said, because he's still alive and he ain't telling it. Because Fonzie's still alive and Fonzie ain't telling it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something else. And this is real talk, y'all. I always said, and up until about 2 years ago, I always said this about Robin. Now, Robin, you disappointed me, Robin. I'm talking about Whitney's Robin, because I really thought you was going to take that story to your grave. I really didn't think you would ever tell your story, and you came out with a book, so I feel I'm side-eyeing you now. But after watching this documentary, though, I do whether it was Fonzie or not, I do also understand why ain't nobody came out and said nothing. You know why? Because Luther kept his circle tight. And he kept the same people around him from high school who probably knew from high school. They probably knew. And they loved him and they all kept his secret. Because he didn't have no new friends. And when I say no new friends, I mean like he kept his circle tight. Like those were his friends to the end. Right? Patty, they mad as hell at you. Patty! Now, on one hand, Patty is 900 years old and she probably don't give a damn. But Patty, they mad as hell at you. They said it in the documentary. Okay? They said in the documentary that they mad at you. And you know what? I'm mad at you too now. I'm mad at you too. Well, I was mad at you when you said it, but I'm damn sure mad at you now. Because number one, that wasn't your story to tell. Number one, it wasn't your story to tell. And number two, if everybody around him respected him so much to never speak on it, why would you speak on it? When Andy Messy ass Cohen asked that question, you should have said the same thing that Lufa said. He said, I'm not going to dignify that question with answering. I'm not going to confirm nor deny. Now, I do find it interesting. Now, I'm all over the place because I don't have no notes. But listen, I do find it very interesting that Luther and Freddie answered that question the exact same. Y'all remember when Freddie did his unsung? And they asked Freddie about whether he was gay. And Freddie got indignant as hell. Freddie said, I don't owe you an I don't owe you that. He said, there's only one person. He said, I only owe my mother and God. I don't owe you that. He said, I'm not going to dignify that. I'm not going to confirm or deny. And I find it interesting that Luther said this. Luther said, I'm not gonna dignify that by confirming or denying. He said, I don't owe you that. He said, I owe you my talent. I owe you, what he said? I owe you my effort, my talent, and something else he said, child. I said, I know that's right. I know that. Yeah, they did have PR training back then. So let's get back. I'm gonna try to go in order, but y'all know I'm all over the place and I don't have no notes, child. Cissy Houston said she would have had a problem with Whitney being gay, but she sung at Luther's funeral too. That's why people ain't want to discuss that stuff with old people. Well, two things can be true at the same time. She knew, listen, Cissy knew her mama was gay, just like Luther mama knew too. But knowing and being free to live your lifestyle is two different things. Somebody knowing, your parent, your mama, your daddy knowing, and your mama and daddy being comfortable with you living in that truth, that's two different things. George Michael said the same thing. Yeah, George Michael was sort of pushed. Well, he pushed himself. Nobody pushed him out the closet. He pushed himself out the closet. But again, the reason why he was meeting strange men in a park is because, again, he could not publicly live his life or didn't feel comfortable. So moving right along. So he joined his first little group in high school, and they were called, like, their name had something about green in it. It wasn't green, it was a J. They were like the 5 smooth J's or some shit like that. And Luther told them that they had to get these green, like, snake skin satin shoes or some shit. Put that in the column under number 2. Put that under number 2. Put that underneath. Mama punished him with the Supremes. Put that on number 2. That's number 2. Okay. From there, they joined another group that was managed by the owner of the Apollo, right? And that made a lot of sense because obviously the person who owns the Apollo would have a lot of connections. So he said they used to be able to go to all of the shows at the Apollo for free. And then Jim Henson came in to hear them sing. And that's how they got the gig on Sesame Street. And I thought it was interesting. Here's the first time we actually hear the conversation about his size be one of the first conversation. And he said, you know, even though Luther was probably one of the most talented singers in the group, he certainly was not, like, he wasn't the star of the group. And a lot of it had to do with because of his size, because at that point, Luther was already starting to get a little thick. He wasn't fat by any stretch of the imagination back then when you look at the clips, but he was, you know, he was a thick dude, but he was also a tall guy. So Luther always stood out because of his height. And then he was, you know, he was a chubby boy. Y'all know. Husky, you know, had to shop in the husky section. So he got into college. He went to Kalamazoo for a year out in Michigan, hated it, told his mama, look, I ain't going back to college. I don't like it. And honestly, I don't want a plan B. Like, I want to do music. I want to be in music. I want to make music my thing. I don't want a plan B. This is what I want. Okay? This is what I want. And as a result of that, His mama gave him her blessing, She said, hey, do your thing. And so he came back full time, and they talked about how he got into doing jingles. See, this is not for the young people. This is for the old people. This is for the old people. As they were playing some of those jingles, I remembered some of those jingles, but I did not know that was Luther. Like, I remember the Low and Brow commercials. I remember, what was it, Low and Brow? I think they played a Kodak commercial. I think they played, but either way, back in the day, we had some jingles, y'all. Commercials, first of all, they used to advertise beer, liquor, and cigarettes on TV. Okay, you could literally see cigarette commercials, beer commercials, liquor commercials, like all the time, not just during football games. Okay, all the time. Second of all, we got a good little jingle jangle. Okay, we used to get a good little jingle jangle. Okay. Just like TV shows used to actually have lyrics. Their songs used to actually have words that we still know to this day, most of us, if we watched them. I did not realize that Luther sang so many of those jingles. And he actually was like the top jingle guy in the industry. Like he was the go-to guy. He was the person you called. He also used to do, he was getting a reputation for being a great backup singer. And he ended up in the studio with David Bowie because of his friend Carlos, who was a member of the Five Stones, whatever the name of the group was, child. And Bowie was laying the track for one of his songs, right? Because I always heard that he did backup for David Bowie, and I was like, how in the fuck did he do backup? Like, how did he end up doing backup for David Bowie? So the story was told that Carlos was doing a gig session, and he said that's how we used to roll with each other back in the day. Like, if one of us had a gig, we would bring the other ones, because you never know if somebody didn't show up or if they needed an extra voice, they needed something. He said that's how we kind of all looked out for each other. And I was like, again, that just brought me back to what I was saying about how these were his friends from high school, like road dogs, like middle school, elementary school, high school, like friends. You know what I'm saying? And so they was in David Bowie one night, and David Bowie was laying a track or whatever, and Luther was doing what Luther does. He in the back jazzing up the vocal. He was like, he was adding his loofah to it, And David Bowie heard it and was like, well, whoa, do that again. And Luther was like, me? And he was like, yeah, you, do that again. And Luther was like, okay, well, let me show you what I did. And from that point on, not only did Luther become one of his background singers, but he also got credit on his albums for being one of his arrangers, and I think eventually producer credit. Now, that's how he met Patty. He was touring with David Bowie, and he met Patty in London, in Europe. I'm gonna just say Europe, but she met him in Europe when he was singing backup for David Bowie, when Patty was with LaBelle, and that was when Lady Marmalade became a hit. That was when they first blew up, and that's how they met, because they did a show together with David Bowie, and that's how she met him. And I remember because I remember I read Patti LaBelle's autobiography back in the day, and I remember thinking, wow, because she was like, who's this little black boy singing for David Bowie? Hold on, y'all. So from there, he did backup for Roberta Flack and, other people. And he said Roberta Flack basically fired him, child. Yeah, that's how she met Elton John too. She met Elton John during that time too. And he said basically Roberta Flack basically fired him because Roberta Flack was like, look, you're too talented to get comfortable singing behind people. Like, you're way too talented to be sitting back here. But Luther was actually putting out his own music. It just wasn't becoming very popular. And eventually that's when he did Never Too Much, which I remember hearing Never Too Much as a kid. Like, I remember my godmother playing that tape, and I remember loving that song. And I remember us listening to that song over. Hold on, y'all. And I remember us listening to that song over and over and over again. But I didn't realize that was like his first big hit. I didn't know that. And so, of course, from Never Too Much, you know, Luther becomes Luther, right? And he wrote songs for other people as well. He produced music. I didn't realize he produced the song for Aretha that won her awards and stuff like that. And it's so funny how kids don't care about the stuff that adults think we care about, because I never had an issue with Luther Vandross's weight. I just always loved that damn song. You know what I'm saying? I just love that damn song. And I remember him on the album cover, popping his collar and that little leather jacket. And it just never occurred to me to have an issue with him being fat. Like, I don't. Anyway. Because I remember they did it to Roberta Flack. They just did it to a lot of artists. But anyway. She Loves Me Back is my song. Right. We all love Big Luther. Luther's weight was always an up and down thing. You saw it all through the documentary that it was up and it was down. It was up, it was down. Now, I will say this, and let's be clear. Luther ain't here. And if he chose to not be honest with us about how he kept losing that weight, I'm just going to put that to the side. But I absolutely, and this is coming from somebody that struggles with weight. Okay, let me be honest. I do not believe that Luther Vandross had such extreme weight swings without either A, having some help, and I mean outside of just a regular diet, or B, I said 1, 2, whatever, or 2, without him having some sort of eating disorder. Because this man wasn't losing 20, 30 pounds. He was losing over 100 pounds, which means he was gaining over 100 pounds and losing it again. You don't take, and that's part of the reason too why his body, and he was diabetic, which I didn't know he was diabetic. So this was part of the reason why his body did kind of break down on him. Fin was there, Ozempic. Yeah, I mean, but remember, they also had liposuction back then. Remember that extreme diet that Oprah went on, which we know she didn't keep it off. But I want to say one of those weight losses, Luther did do what Oprah did. Because I remember, I think I remember them talking about it. I think the first time he lost all that weight, I think that was when they thought he had AIDS and all of that. I think it was a liquid diet the first time. I think. Don't quote me, but I feel like I remember the two of them talking about it. Yeah, Oprah definitely went through the same thing. So then we start getting into the Any Love part of it, right? This was sad. Now, this is where I started questioning, saying, well, maybe Fonzie wasn't the other man in his life, because he was saying, if you listen to the lyrics of Any Love, I'm not going to do that, Cajun. Yeah, you think he had an eating disorder? Yeah, I think it might have been. I just don't believe he did all of that without. And I get it. He, could hire a trainer and all of that, but I I think it was something else, but that's just me. And again, he never admitted to doing, but I do think I remember him and Oprah did the same thing at one time. Maybe he was just a placeholder, or maybe neither one of them felt comfortable being public about their relationship. When Luther spoke on Any Love, I think Luther was saying he wanted to be in love publicly, like he wanted to live his life in love. And because for whatever his reason was, whether it was because of his mother, whether it was because of the industry, whether it was because he wasn't comfortable. Because I don't listen. Y'all can get mad at me. Y'all can call me what you want to call me. But I don't believe for 1 minute that Luther wanted to be in love with a woman. Now, other people might disagree with me, and that's fine. Y'all can live in that fantasy world that you have created for yourself. But I do not think Luther wanted to be in love with a woman. So, on that premise, ouch, I just bit my tongue. I'm saying that even if him and Fonzie had some moments, I don't think either one of them were in a space where they wanted to be public with that. So when I hear Any Love, I don't think, and even when he, in that interview, he said that he's never been in love like that. And most of the time that he was in love, it was unrequited. It was one-sided. And I said, wow. Tracy, I'm going to need you to get up off of Queen Latifah's neck. Okay? I'm really going to need you to get up off of Queen Latifah's neck. Yeah, the Any Love was very sad. That's where you started getting the feels. I don't know if he wanted to live out loud. I don't think he did. But I think he... Well, no, let me rewind. I do think he did. And I'm going to be honest with you. Had he lived, I think he would be. Just like the Elton Johns of the world and the George Michaels of the world. Hell, even Clive Davidson came out as bisexual. I think had he lived, I do think he would be living his life. I think he would be doing what the Queen Latifah thing. I don't think he would have ever come out and made a proclamation. You know what I mean? I don't think he would have ever come out and made a proclamation. But I do think that he would have a partner. I really do. It was a different time then. That's why I said I think now, if he were still alive now, I think at a certain point he would have. Not if he was alive. I'm sure Quincy Jones would have told. Hell, Quincy Jones told everybody else's business whether they were alive or dead. So, right. And I think, again, because times have changed, I think, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, remember, Elton John married a whole woman. So did the lead singer of Queen. What's my man's name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The lead singer of Queen, We Will Rock You. He married a whole woman. Like, at least Luther didn't go that far. Maybe he did have gastric bypass. He may have. You think he was involved with the one that died? Oh. He did say that was his best friend. And he was very devastated. You know, Freddie Mercury, thank you, y'all. You know, I was in a car accident in high school. And the accident was my fault. And my friend was hurt really badly. And I carried guilt for a very long time about that. And I can only imagine somebody dying in a car accident that was my fault. Like, that is a scary, scary thought. So, Yeah, that's why I say I think that had he lived, I feel like he would have been comfortable enough to, at the very least, be in a relationship publicly, not necessarily making any proclamations. I ain't saying he'd have went and got married and all of that, but I do think, and especially if that was somebody he was in a relationship with, I mean, wow. Because then you can't even really grieve like you want to. You know what I'm saying? If y'all were in a secret relationship, you still got to be very guarded in even how you choose to speak on that. You know? Rock Hudson, Freddie Mercury, and Elton married women to hide it. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely they did. Now, wasn't nobody fooled by it. Maybe Rock Hudson. I think Rock Hudson might be the only people that was shocked, but nobody was shocked about Freddie Mercury. Nobody was shocked about Elton John, child. My Secret Love. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot about that song. Was that him? Or was that Stevie? They used to go everywhere together. The one that died in the car accident? Oh. Maybe that was his. Child, wasn't nobody fooled about Liberace. That was Luther. My Secret Love. Yeah, that was Luther. I think I'm thinking about that song with Stevie Wonder, Part-Time. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about Part-Time Lover. Yes. Kim, I'm not doing this with you tonight. Kim, we are going to have a Diddy-free night, okay? Happy New Year, Bama girl. So, as I'm listening, so that part was sad. And honestly, I will never hear Any Love again the same way because obviously I knew the words, but I never thought of it as a personal. I never thought of it that personal for him. You know what I mean? I never thought of it like that. So, yeah, I never thought. So, yeah, that did get sad. So then they talk about the stroke. And that was sad as well. His assistant was hurt. When he said they knocked down that door, he said the whole time he was apologizing. He said, because they were brand new mahogany doors. He said, you could take it out my pay, but I just can't get in touch with you. And I don't know what's wrong. And I just wonder how long. I mean, I remember when it happened, you hear all of these stories about how long he may have been there, before they found him and, all of that. But clearly it was massive. It was massive. He never really fully recovered. It looked like he was getting better, but he never really fully covered. But he was able to talk. I don't think he was able to walk well because I don't think we ever saw him stand up again. Now, he might have been able to get up and he may have been able to do exercises, like physical therapy, but I don't think he could walk. You know what I'm saying? But he could talk pretty well. He could talk pretty well. I've known people to have strokes and so they could talk really well. I mean, he could talk really well, and he seemed to still have his mental faculties about him. But it just, obviously, yeah, Luther was in that wheelchair. Right. The last interview I saw Luther was after the stroke, and he sang a little bit. Okay, so he did sing, yeah. But I know he was in that wheelchair, so I don't think. And when you saw that clip of him with Oprah, now, y'all, don't nobody go nowhere and say, Really Be said this. I ain't saying this. I'm just throwing something out there. I'm throwing something out there. Did y'all hear what I heard when he did the post-stroke interview. They showed that clip, and Oprah said, "What is it that every day you say you want to do better today or get better at today?" And when he said, I wish I had written it down because I feel like I'm going to be paraphrasing. But he said, I want to get better at this feeling like I don't. And he didn't say I don't want to be here. He never came right out and said, like, I don't want to be here. But he sort of alluded to that. Did y'all hear that? Or was that me? Am I putting 20 on 10? Am I putting 20 on 10? Did y'all hear that? That it sounded like he was saying he... And it is a lot. Listen, when you got the world in the palm of your hand, you at the top of the game, your record is at the top, winning Grammys, you've got money, you've got, and then you go from that to being incapacitated in a wheelchair and sick and, like, it's a lot. Okay, y'all heard that. And I'm not saying that he did anything. Let's be clear. That's not what I'm saying. But I heard, okay, all right. Yeah, he said, accepting this last chapter of my life. Yeah, something along those lines, right? Yeah, he said this being the last chapter. Yeah, okay. So I ain't crazy. All right, okay, I ain't crazy. What they say? I remember that song Autopsy. I think I looked at the one on Jimi Hendrix. What they say about Luther? Tell me, Sharice, what they say a lot about Luther. Whole time they playing Christopher Reeve's right. Why they had to play the Christopher Reeve? Child, don't nobody. Y'all really was trying to take us out. Thank you, Mo. Yes, like that video, y'all. Now, they did show that clip of Patty. And like I said, Patty, they are mad at you. All his friends are mad at you. Because they ain't feel like they didn't understand why you didn't respect. Let me say this. His friends pretty much confirmed that the man was gay. Okay? They pretty much confirmed that the man was gay. Okay? But they were like, why couldn't everybody respect his wishes and what he chose to tell and not tell people? And it was like, you knew they was talking about Patty even before they played that clip. You knew they was talking about Patty. I said, oh, they mad at Patty. As they should be. As they should be. But I thought that was not funny, haha funny, but I thought it was funny. Like, yeah, they ain't forgot that Patty that came out here and told that man business. And I do believe Patty. Like, I do. I believe that they did have conversations about it. I believe that he did struggle with his sexuality, with coming out, with how to live his life. Do I think that men probably flirted with Luther over the years? Yes. Do I think that Luther maybe tried to take a chance and flirt with men over the years? Yes. But I think at the crux of it all, he was just afraid because, again, it was a different time. You just did not, especially not Black men. And we also have to add the element of HIV to that. We also have to add the HIV element of the 1980s to that, right? They already said the man died of AIDS just because he lost a bunch of weight. Oh, thank you, Star. I'm going to open your gift before I get off of here. I did get it. It came this morning. Well, it came today, I should say. So I'm going, give me a second. I'm going to go get it. It's on the counter. So yeah, the reality of the situation is I believe he had those conversations. Oh, he had been on the floor for a day or two? Oh, wow. Damn, that long? Oh, wow. The autopsy, the autopsy episode spoke to Luther's overeating, his diabetes, and that when he was found by the assistant, he had been on the floor at least a day or two. Wow. That is so sad. That is so sad. Sorry to hear that. Now that makes me sad. You know, you think, wow, like, you know, that makes me sad. That makes me sad. That he was there for 2 days. Because people probably not now that makes even more sense why his assistant was willing to take that hit and knock down that brand new mahogany door. Because he probably had been calling him for 2 days and was like, this is not like him. That's not like him. You know, he's never late. And we were supposed to be going somewhere. And I feel like nowadays, with all of us being so much more accessible, I don't know if somebody like a Luther would be able to go for 48 hours without somebody being able to talk to him. Back then, probably wasn't a big deal. When you say, hey, calling you on your house phone, if you don't answer the house phone, okay, you must be asleep or you must be watching TV or you must not, you know what I mean? Deborah, I ain't gonna lie, I thought about that too. Deborah said, I often wonder if he wasn't assisted with his departure. Oh, I knew Bridgerton was getting another season. I need to finish watching the old season. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize it had been that long. I knew he was there a long time. I knew he had been there a while because I remember even when it first happened, I remember them saying, had somebody gotten to him sooner, but which is the case with all strokes. You know, the sooner you get help, the better it is. So that's not a new thing, you know. But I remember them saying that. The last time anyone saw him was at the All-Star basketball game, and then he had the stroke. Wow. Oh, let me tell you something. Luther would absolutely have a residency. He would have already had a residency. Luther would have absolutely had a residency in Vegas by now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. If Whitney had been able to stay clean, the problem with Whitney was Whitney had lost her voice. And I don't know if she would have been able to get it back. Because Whitney had really lost her voice. Now, Luther ain't lose his voice. But Whitney had lost her voice. And she was struggling. Them last couple of years, Whitney was struggling. Just goes to show you how people struggle in silence. Yeah. And that's the reality. The reality of the situation is, again, I even think a lot of his overeating went back to him not being able to really truly be who he is. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, Cajun. I saw Luther in England with the Philharmonic Orchestra. It was amazing. Oh, I bet it was. But I think it was a really good documentary. I really do. I told y'all this the other day. I love documentaries when you can really hear the real person. And even though Luther was not here, they were able to put together so many of his interviews and stuff that you were able to really get a good a good representation. Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on real quick. Yeah, the vocal coach even told Whitney that her voice could only get to 80% with training. Yeah, with all that smoking and all the wear and tear on her lungs. Because remember, she had I think polyps and she had surgery. I remember Fantasia had that as well. Yeah, and then they showed the clip from the funeral. Yeah. But I think Fozzie and Lufa shared some late nights. So this is y'all still loving on me. This is a gift from my sister. Thank you so much. Jamie Foxx did a great job with his documentary and did a respectfully. Questlove is working on a Maurice White. Oh, that's gonna be good. Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary. Oh, that'd be real nice. Well, that's true. Whitney at 80% is still better than half of what's out there now. You ain't lying about that. Something else I was going to say. Oh, they say that the Diddy documentary is dropping on Peacock. What, next month, I think? Child. Are we watching it? They said Maurice White was a terror. I know he was a perfectionist. Now that I know he was. Y'all, are we watching it? So this is from one of my stars. Let me see what she got me. Hold on. Yeah, I was on behalf of my friend Rising for me to go to the East. I wanted to send you a few of them. Merry Christmas. Oh, thank you, Miss Parker. Let me see. It's a bag. It's a little bag. Thank you. And there's some stuff in here. Let me see. I knew it was going to be some Eastern Star stuff because it came from one of my stars. So it's an Eastern Star hat. Oh, it's a bracelet. Okay, it's an Eastern Star bracelet that I can wear to my meetings. Sisters are like stars. You can, hold on. Shoot, the price tag is covering it. Hold on. You can see them, but you know they are always there. You can't always see them, but you know they're always there. All right. The Books and Bourbon tour, as soon as I know the dates of the book, as soon as I know the dates of the book thing. Also, this bracelet is real cute. It's another bracelet that I can wear. I just have to see if my fat wrist can fit in this. But this is cute too. Me likey. Oh, look at this. This is pretty. It's a brooch. It's an Eastern Star brooch. Thank you so much, Miss Parker. Thank you. Yes. I'm mad Gina not in here. Because Gina would be like, I want that, and I want that too. Thank you so much. Thank you. I read Maurice White and Philip Bailey's autobiographies, and it was more about money and not wanting the members to do drugs. He was stern about that, but Maurice did the emotions wrong. Child, look, I didn't read none of it, so I don't know. Well, I know Philip Bailey had a drug problem. So maybe that's where that came from. Because Philip Bailey definitely had a drug problem. He talked about that. So, all right, y'all. We can ready to get out of here. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm gonna just go ahead and double up on Bell Collective and do both parts of the reunion tomorrow night. At some point I will do Married to Medicine. I still haven't done Married to Medicine, but at some point I'll do it. Yeah, we back on schedule Sunday night. Real Housewives of Potomac, honey. And Love and Marriage Huntsville Sunday morning, okay? All right, you guys. I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.